Hello everyone, my name is Hao Dinh. Hope everyone is doing well. As a quick introduction, I've spent the past 25 years driving digital transformation for the various companies that are listed here, either as a digital product owner, chief innovation officer, or as a director of digital transformation. What I'd like to do in the next few minutes is talk about how myself and some of my peers are leveraging Industry 4.0 during COVID-19 to help our organizations grow. In particular, I would like for you to identify three things that come out of my presentation. One is to realize how much of a game changer Industry 4.0 is during the pandemic, why you should care about that, and most importantly, what you can take from this presentation to actually leverage Industry 4.0 for you and your organization. But first, let's talk about what exactly is Industry 4.0. 1.0 is when we leverage the steam and water power technologies. Industry 2.0 is when we deployed our mass production lines, assembly lines. And Industry 3.0 is actually where most companies are today when they've deployed robots, automated systems, and information technology or IT systems in their factories to produce their goods. Industry 4.0 is what I'm going to talk about today, and that's associated with the concept of a smart factory, having autonomous systems and leveraging the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence to again improve operations in our factories. In particular, I'm going to talk about these various technologies that make up Industry 4.0 and how they're being used in the past so many months during COVID-19 to help companies produce their goods and and actually deliver on what they need to deliver for their goods. Before we do that, let's actually talk about what's going on in the industrial world. As you can see here in the US, there is a sharp decline in industrial output. Also globally, again, not surprising to everyone, there is a global decline in manufacturing output. However, there are industries out there that are doing really well during this pandemic. Some of them are pharmaceuticals, software, the media companies. And again, not surprising in those areas. And also in particular, there are certain product lines that are doing really well and seeing a sharp increase in demand for these goods, such as toilet paper, disposable gloves. And since a lot of people now are spending time at home, there is a sharp increase in demand for appliances such as ovens, refrigerators, freezers. And then since people are at home and exercising, there has been a sharp increase in demand for workout equipment. However, for companies that are seeing this sharp increase in demand for their products, they are having issues bringing their employees into their factories in a safe manner. And that's because, as all of us are aware, and the right thing to do for companies is to make sure that there's policies in place so that when we bring back our employees into our factories to make our goods, there's policies around social distancing, wearing masks, and also having barriers around certain areas of the factory. But there is one thing to note though, for companies that have invested heavily in robots, system integration, and also the Internet of Things or IoT before COVID-19, they're not having big of an issue around bringing their employees back into their factories as if the companies, compared to the companies who did not invest in these types of innovations. And that's because logically, if you think about it, if you invested in robots and the systems that support the robots, then you really don't need as many humans to come back into your factories in order to produce your goods. And that's why during COVID-19, the companies that have invested in these robots and technologies associated with the robots, they're not having those problems bringing employees in because they don't have to bring in that many employees. Also to highlight that if companies that have invested in Internet of Things, robots, and the integrated systems associated with the robots, they're producing more output. Because as all of us are aware, robots and software can't operate 24/7. And there's also one other thing to note is that for the companies that are right now bringing up their factories to get back on track, those companies that invested in robots and the Internet of Things and the automated systems, they're able to quickly bring up their production lines compared to companies who did not invest in those Internet of Things or Industry 4.0 technologies. Now I want to talk about how big data, artificial intelligence, and cloud computing is benefiting companies during COVID-19. So as you imagine, if you have an uptick in demand for your products, you're going to bring in more shifts to start making more of your products. And when you have more shifts, what's going to happen is you're going to need more uptime of your machines. In order to have maximum uptime of your machines, you need to make sure that you have the right machine maintenance strategies in place. So what's listed here are 4 types of maintenance strategies. On the left-hand side is where we don't want to be. That's where the machine breaks and you fix the machine. Preventive maintenance is actually where most companies are today, where on a regular basis, every 6 months, 3 months, every week, there's a certain maintenance plan that's in place so that you make sure that your machines are up and running. What I'm going to talk about today is predictive maintenance, where we're going to leverage IoT, big data, the Internet of Things, and also cloud computing to have better maintenance strategies in place. So what exactly is predictive maintenance? Well, predictive maintenance is when you use IoT equipment such as sensors that you put on your machines, and these sensors produce digital data such as the speed, the vibration, the temperature associated how those machines are operating. That digital data now is sent to an artificial intelligence engine, and that artificial intelligence engine comes up with insights. And those insights could be, hey, the last time this machine acted this way around temperature, vibration, and speed, you have an 80% probability that this machine is going to break in 3 weeks. And as you can imagine, having that type of insight is very beneficial, because what you can do is before that machine breaks in 3 weeks, you actually put in your maintenance schedule so that you can fix that machine so that it doesn't break. And by doing so, you're going to prevent that downtime and most importantly, increase your uptime for that machine. Predictive maintenance is not a new thing. It is actually in production in the real world as we speak. And here's some examples of predictive maintenance in production. The U.S. Air Force is using artificial intelligence to make sure that their aircrafts are up and running when needed. Also in the energy industry, wind turbine operators are using artificial intelligence to make sure that their turbines are up and running and have the maximum amount of uptime. Now I want to talk about augmented reality. Again, how augmented reality is helping organizations during this pandemic. The use case I want to talk about is when a machine breaks, and in today's environment, when a machine breaks, you might not have an opportunity to bring in an expert on site to fix your machine, either because third parties are not allowed due to COVID-19 on site, or that person who's probably in a different or could be in a different country can't fly in because of travel restrictions. One solution around that is to leverage augmented reality. In a case where you put on some smart glasses and then you leverage a digital platform, an augmented reality digital platform that's there's plenty of them available today. And through that platform, an expert can be anywhere in the world and log on via the internet and a web browser and interact with the person with those smart glasses who is in front of the machine that is broken. And together they work on solving that problem real time. So what I'm going to do now is show you a quick video of this use case.
One of the issues I'm running into is actually locating the location of the sensor itself.
So looking in GFF, it's kind of the left front right there, and it looks like it's this sensor. Let me highlight it for you. Right there. Do you see it on your glasses?
So right here.
Alright. Okay. Let's take it apart and see what it looks like. I'm going to send you a couple pictures real quick of the connector. We'll take it apart and see if we can see anything wrong with it.
John, you can confirm this is pin through.
So as you can see in the video, a person who was trying to fix a vehicle, or it can be any type of machine, they don't have the expertise. They put on some smart glasses, and a person, the expert, can be anywhere in the world, log on through the web browser, and interact with that person to solve the problem. In this situation, you see a faster way of resolving that issue, and also a least expensive way, because now we don't have to wait for that person to fly in. So our downtime for that machine is now shorter, and the cost associated with flying that person in, we don't have that cost anymore. The other benefit of this augmented reality solution is around having the right expert at the right time. We've had situations in the past where we would bring a person in, an expert, to go fix a machine, and as they were trying to fix the machine, they realized they didn't have the skill set needed to fix the machine. So in that case, we had to wait another day or two for another expert to come in. In the augmented reality solution, what happens if that person is not able to help solve your problem, now what you can do is go find that person real time, have them join the augmented reality call, again, logging onto a browser and a digital platform, and then together working to solve that issue. The case where you have the right expert at the right time. Now I want to talk about additive manufacturing, another Industry 4.0 technology that has been very beneficial during COVID-19. So what exactly is additive manufacturing? Before we go into that, let's talk about how we've been manufacturing things for years now, which is subtractive manufacturing. In subtractive manufacturing, what happens is you start with a block of a material and you carve out that material until you actually get a product that you want. So again, that's subtractive manufacturing, and we've been using it now for years to make the products that we want. Additive manufacturing doesn't start out with a block of material. It starts out with some material, but again, what it does is it just layers on more and more material until you actually have enough material in the right form that you need and the desired product that you need. So again, that's additive manufacturing, and some people call that 3D printing. The best way to show this is actually give you some examples of additive manufacturing in action. So if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see additive manufacturing for a rocket booster, layering in metal layer by layer to actually develop this rocket booster, which is actually being used today in rockets. On the right-hand side, you'll see additive manufacturing associated with building a part for a car. Using a laser to layer by layer melt this powder material into the form that you see here associated with a part that's for a car. Both situations uses additive / 3D printing technologies where they just layer by layer add material until you get the desired product that you need. And the reason why additive manufacturing has been so beneficial during COVID-19 is because, as you imagine, the pandemic has caused a disruption in our supply chain. So there could be some supplier out there that can't, through logistic issues, provide you the components that you need to build your finished goods. So in that case, what you can do is you can actually 3D print or additive manufacture those components on-site or nearby, so that now you have all the materials that you need to produce your finished goods. And we are seeing an uptick in demand for metal additive manufacturing opportunities. 14% growth opportunities we see now and in the near future. And the last thing I want to talk about is blockchain. And again, how blockchain is helping companies during COVID-19. What exactly is blockchain? Very high level definition here, but blockchain allows you to do transactions with other trading partners quickly and in a trusted manner. So in this case, let's say a person wants to start a transaction, they want to buy something. And in a blockchain world, that transaction will kick off a block, a piece of software. And now that piece of software will be distributed across all the trading partners involved in that transaction. And through software in the network, it will validate that that person who's asking to, say, buy that product should be or is allowed to buy that product. And also it validates that the product that that person wants to buy is a legitimate product, not a counterfeit, right? So once the network, again, all software, so this is done relatively fast, has validated that that person can do the transaction and the transaction will give them a valid part, then that block would be added to the chain. So the concept of the blockchain. And once that blockchain has been added, then that transaction can be executed. Again, all being done by software. So as you can imagine, having that type of software capabilities is going to reduce our transaction costs. But most importantly, the advantage of blockchain is to validate using software that that the product or the transaction that you want to do is a valid transaction and that there's no fraud. And there's examples right now during COVID-19 around IBM launching a blockchain network, especially a network that provides PPE equipment for the people that need it. And this blockchain network is enabling people to go buy the PPE in a faster transaction time than if it was done in our normal non-blockchain process. But most importantly, to enable people to validate that the PPE that they're getting is not counterfeit and it's the real deal. Also, some other things that are being used in blockchain during the pandemic is around tracking of the infectious disease. Again, using the technology to validate that the person who stated that they have the disease is actually that person, and then using the blockchain to validate the tracking of the disease or the virus across a certain area. And as I mentioned, PPE is being used in blockchain. Ventilators also is a hot item right now that's being tracked through the blockchain. So now that you've seen the various types of Industry 4.0 technologies that are benefiting companies, what's next? Well, what's happening now is companies are realizing and seeing the benefit of Industry 4.0 and all the innovations and technologies associated with it. So now companies are doubling down on their investments to accelerate their Industry 4.0 deployments. And then one thing I want to highlight is we should always learn from our historical moments, is to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes that we made in the past, right? So back in 2008, the last recession that we had, Bain & Company did some research and discovered that for the companies that did not cut funding and innovation and R&D during the 2008 financial crisis, actually they invested heavily in R&D and innovation. After the recession, they were exponentially better than the companies who cut their investments in R&D and innovation. So with that said, let's take that learning and do the same thing now in the case of COVID-19, but investing more in Industry 4.0. So what I want to share with you is some experiences I've had on how I've been able, and some of my peers have been able to successfully deploy Industry 4.0 during the pandemic. As you see here is a 6-step process that PwC, a consulting firm, has around deploying digital products and solutions. The first step is always making sure that you have the right strategies. But the thing that I want to highlight is 2 things. One is around making sure that you have pilots around these projects and around the data analytics. And the reason why I want to highlight these 2 is because these are the areas of quick wins. You can have the best strategy in the world, but as digital is moving at a lightning speed, you don't know what you don't know. So you have to have pilots out there that help you fail quickly in the right direction, right? Making sure that you have pilots out there to validate technologies and non-validate technologies and kill those projects. So I want to bring up a concept or a framework around driving innovation called design thinking. And design thinking is a session itself, but quickly, design thinking is an innovation framework that allows you to identify what opportunities there are out there, and quickly prototype those opportunities, learn from those opportunities, and making sure that you either can pivot in a different direction so that you're going in the right direction, persevere because you're going in the right direction, or kill that opportunity because you learn quickly that that's not the right opportunity for you. So I'll have some further or links that you can go through to get more details about design thinking, but this is a good framework if you want to quickly identify where your Industry 4.0 opportunities are. Also, I want to highlight the area around data analytics. We are producing a lot of digital data now because of all the Internet of Things, all the e-commerce, all the digital information that we are producing within our companies. But unfortunately, companies are not leveraging that information to their advantage. Some statistics here is 50% of companies actually throw away their data. They're very, very informative and powerful data. And 37% say that, yeah, they are working on some data-driven analysis, but they're not doing it right? So there's opportunities here. I'm sorry, 37% are saying they're doing it right. So there's a larger percentage of people saying they're not doing it right. So as I mentioned, there's an opportunity here for, as you identify your Industry 4.0 opportunities, please look into your digital data and identifying opportunities there. So data is the new oil. Make sure you figure out where your digital data is, extract it, put it in one place, refine it, use it in a right way, distribute it to the right people that can take advantage of it, and most importantly, find out how you can monetize it, either by making money off of it directly or helping or using that data to make better decisions within your organization. So, thank you very much for your time. Again, my name is Hao Dinh, And what I hope I've done in the past 20-something minutes is show you how Industry 4.0 is such a game changer during the pandemic. Why you should care about it, because it is helping businesses grow during COVID-19, and most importantly, hopefully I've given you some tidbits of information that will help you leverage Industry 4.0 in your organization. If you want to contact me, here's my email address, and most importantly, I have a website that has more information about these various Industry 4.0 solutions. So if you want more details, please visit howdin.me. Again, thank you very much for your time, and please be safe. Thank you.